Hello, my name is Brandon Walker. I host the Brandon Walker College Football Show, brought to you every day by High Noon Hard Seltzer. High Noon, the best drink in the world. Last night we had a national championship game, and I bet you enjoyed some beverages. And I hope, for your sake, you enjoyed the tastiest beverage in America, the High Noon Hard Seltzer. They have the tailgate pack built specifically for college football tailgates and just hanging out and watching the games. It has the pear, the cranberry, delicious flavors. Of course, with High Noon, you have a cavalcade of wonderful, awesome flavors like the watermelon, the peach, the lime, the passion fruit, the guava, the kiwi, the black cherry, the grapefruit, the pear, the cranberry, the lemon, and I'm sure I'm missing a couple. I know I'm missing a couple, but they have incredible, incredible flavors. And from what I hear, maybe we have more great flavors coming soon. More great flavors coming soon. What's behind me? The grapefruit, the pineapple, the black cherry, and the watermelon. It's all delicious. Hello to the chat. Patrick Swayze, hello. Mark Struck, Mikey C. Elliot Wartick, Jordan Holler, Gerald White, Alex Weiler, Trey Holt, Sam Norman, Braxton Flores. Hello, Braxton Flores, not Brandon TJ, the lights are something today. I don't know who decided to go up full with the lights. But if we could take those down, I would love it. If you'll notice, you see Mississippi State Santas up there. Jordan Holler, Matt Shawn, Woods 2323, Aaron Williams, Lamar, Jim S. Thank you for the lights going down. Hello to everybody out there watching and enjoying as we come to you one night after the national championship game. Ryan Martin, Baby Luigi, Day R. Good to see everybody. I will be talking to you in the chat, as always, Phil P. and Mikey C. and everybody else. I will be talking to you. I will also be taking your calls at 888-STOOL-22, 888-STOOL-22. We have an alternate number now that they haven't told you about, 281-330-8004. So if you would like to hit me up on the low, you can call 888-STOOL-22 or 281-330-8004. That line is open for anybody who would like to call. Do you get that reference? You do not. You are young. Perhaps I'm the only person in the world that would get that reference.
I just assuming you were doxing somebody.
I'm not. Katie Stats comes in. She says, "We'll be honest, I'm playing Roller Coaster Tycoon right now." I was with her last week. We traveled together, and she played Roller Coaster Tycoon the whole time. How'd you like Anthony's in West Point, Katie?
It was really good. The catfish crawfish.
The catfish with crawfish sauce,
Yeah.
yes. It was delicious.
It was really, really good. Like the most flavor I've had packed in a dish in a while.
Mm-hmm. This is not the last show of the year. We will have a show tomorrow and a show Thursday. We might have a show Thursday. Me and TJ are talking.
What?
Oh, we'll see. 281-330-8004. That's, of course, the number for Mike Jones. Who?
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones. Perhaps we could hit up the Iceman Paul Wall. Wonder what he's doing these days. Wonder how life's treating the Iceman Paul Wall. Wonder if he's still on 285 South or where. Was he on 285 South or 285 North? He was somewhere.
You should get grills.
Huh?
You should get grills.
We should bring grills back. You know what? We should bring two things back. Grills and spinning rims.
Yeah.
Let's bring spinning rims back.
I thought you meant the teeth thing.
Yeah.
Well, there were two different things. It's called her Stephanie. Katie. Two different things. There was the grills, and then there was the spinning rims for cars. We could bring them back, TJ.
Did you like the spinning WWE championship?
I did not.
I did. That was the championship when I was a kid, so I liked it.
Iceman Paul Wall. Always liked Slim Thug, too. He was good. He was that 6'6" long dick. Sticking my chick. Okay. I think we can move on with college football now. Katie, I have organized my thoughts into pretty much 5 bullet points that can all be TikToks. Okay?
Yay!
So they should be. I'm going to sneeze right now.
Ew.
Can I take a 20? That was something. Anyway, I think Patrick Swayze says, what are the chances Jordan Travis wins the Heisman next year? Probably low. Say he's a top 10 favorite. I don't think he's a top 3 favorite or top 5 favorite. He's probably top 10 favorite. But probably low. I don't know that he's going to be able to beat Drake May or Caleb Williams. But we'll see. It all depends if they can go 11-1 or 12-0. I have distilled my thoughts from the national championship game into several bullet points that I'm going to give you right now. I'm going to give them to you right now, and you decide what to do with them. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullet points. Bullet point number 1. Folks, Georgia now runs college football. That's the rule. You've got Alabama fans weighing in. Oh, we've been great for 10 years. You've got other teams weighing in. Georgia has just put together back-to-back undefeated regular seasons. This year they had a back-to-back, or they had an undefeated run the whole time. They've got back-to-back national championships. If you win back-to-back national championships, the sport now runs through you. The sport runs through Athens, Georgia. It used to run through Tuscaloosa, and it did for a long time. And you might get back there. But right now, Kirby Smart has the big swinging dick in college football. Kirby Smart has the best program in college football. It's one thing to go out and win a national title. What an incredible accomplishment. It's quite another to go out, win a national title, lose 15 draft picks, lose almost an entire NFL defense, and then come back and be arguably better the next year. That is a level of program building that is very, very rare. Last year they had an incredible team. This year they proved they have an incredible program. They had new players, new faces, new everything, plugged them in, kept right on going. That is the top of the sport. The Georgia Bulldogs run college football right now. And if you don't want to hear it, you're either an Alabama fan or you're stupid, because look at what's in front of your face. They walked in the national championship game last night, and this is after beating Ohio State 42-41 in a thriller, and they treated TCU like a junior high football program. And as mediocre as TCU might be, as non-elite as they might be, they're not that bad. That's just how far ahead of the rest of the country Georgia is right now. When you can show up to a national title game and treat your opponent like that, you run the sport of football. And that's what Kirby Smart does right now. There's TikTok number 1. Actually, the Alabama one later should be the first one you put out, because that one will get the most engagement. Bullet point number 2. Against all odds, Stetson Bennett will go down as an all-time great. Now, you can use whatever you like to poke your holes in his performance. You can say his teammates are great. Fine, true. You can say, oh, he was just a walk-on. Oh, he was a 3-star recruit. Whatever you want to do, you cannot deny this man was the best player on the field in 2 consecutive national championship games. Know why that made my nose run. Might have to start that one over. Nose itches. We'll start the Stetson Bennett one over. Stetson Bennett absolutely now goes down as an all-time great quarterback in college football. Now, you may not like it, and you may be able to poke holes in his performance. You might be able to look at his roster and say, oh, my God, he's got the best teammates. That's fine. A lot of quarterbacks have had the best teammates. That doesn't mean those quarterbacks have won back-to-back national titles. That doesn't mean those quarterbacks have showed up to 2 national title games in a row and been the best player on the field. And make no mistake, last year when Georgia was in a dogfight with when Georgia was in a dogfight with Alabama for the national championship in the fourth quarter, who was the best player on the field? Stetson Bennett. Last night, who was the best player on the field? Stetson Bennett. He was a walk-on. And Georgia fans, you absolutely do not get to sit there and say, yeah, well, we told you so, because that's what you're trying to do. Yeah, look at you now. You're giving Stetson Bennett love. Guess who doubted Stetson Bennett more than anybody at first? You guys. Georgia fans, when he was behind JT Daniels and then he supplanted JT Daniels, and a lot of you said, put JT back in the game. A lot of you did that, and don't deny it, because you know you did it. And Stetson Bennett went out and he won you over, and he won the country over. He won 2 straight national titles. But Georgia fans, you don't get to say, oh, yeah, look at our guy. We always knew it. No, you didn't, you lying piece of shit. You didn't. But your guy stared you down, stared the country down, and became an all-time great. And it's incredible. Landmine Believer says if Saban replaces both coordinators, Alabama will win the national title next year. That's what Alabama fans want to believe to be true. And they're lying to themselves more than anybody. They want that to be true. They want the blame all to go on the coordinators. Oh, yeah, if we just replace Bill O'Brien, we'll be better. If we just replace Pete Golding, we'll be better. It ignores the fact that you've got a lot of players who didn't do the job this year. You were built to win this year. You had Will Anderson. You had Bryce Young. You might have had the number 1-2 pick in the draft, and you lost to LSU and Tennessee, 2 teams nowhere near as talented. That goes deeper than coordinators. That goes to development. That goes to players who didn't know how to get the job done, and that's not the Alabama I'm used to. But no, the coordinators getting replaced are not a magic fix at Alabama. You know why? You're breaking in a new quarterback. You're breaking in almost a brand new defense. You're breaking in a lot next year, and Georgia owns your ass. Sorry. The lighting is off. You look pale. I don't think that's true. I don't feel pale. Bullet point number 3. I'm adding a bullet point. I was right. Brandon Walker was right. I told you Georgia was going to show up and treat TCU like an absolute afterthought. I told you TCU was living on borrowed time. I told you TCU wasn't real. I told you TCU was living a charmed, magical life. And once they ran up against somebody that didn't choke on their own vomit, and by the way, Michigan, you did. Once they ran up against somebody that can handle their business like Georgia, TCU's magic carpet ride, poof, gone. Great story. Incredible ride to the national championship. But when you get there, you can't fake it like you did all year. You can't wait for an injury to the other quarterback. You can't absolutely pull a miracle out of your hat. You had to line up and play football. TCU couldn't do it. Great season. Phenomenal ride. You were pretenders the whole time. Sorry. That's just how it is. Bullet point 4. People love to crap on college football when there's a blowout in the national championship game. I can't tell you how many tweets I got saying college football is dead. College football is broken. College football is rotten from the core. Look how much better Georgia is than TCU. College football stinks because there's a blowout. It ignores the fact that there's blowouts in championship games across all sports. It also willingly ignores the fact that 10 days ago, we had the most epic semifinal round ever. TCU beat Michigan in a thriller. Georgia beat Ohio State by the absolute skin of their teeth, barely beat them. 2 incredible playoff games capped off an incredible season. Did the end suck? Was it a rotten cherry on top of a delicious sundae? Yes. The last game sucked, but it doesn't mean college football is dying. It doesn't mean it's dead. It doesn't mean all these things that you guys want to prescribe to college football when there's one blowout. You don't say it when there's a Super Bowl blowout. You don't say it when there's a sweep in the NBA or the World Series. You only say when there's a blowout in college football, oh, it's broken. No, it's not broken. One team just rose up and built such a powerful team this year that they were able to exact their will on another team in the championship game scenario. The semifinals were great. College football is more alive and healthier than ever before. And just because you parachute in every January 9th and watch a championship game, and you get to fold your arms and say, oh, I don't like this product. Shut up. Shut the hell up. Bullet point number 5, and Katie, this is TikTok number 1. Georgia beat TCU 65-7 last night to win their second straight national championship. And you know who needs to shut up? Alabama fans. Alabama fans came out of the woodwork during that game and after that game saying, see, we belong there. See, we should have been there. See, we were better than TCU. The issue, Alabama fans, is never who was better between you and TCU. The issue is Alabama did not deserve it. Alabama went 10-2 with losses to LSU and Tennessee. And you can say, oh, it was the last play of the game. Oh, tough places to play. Alabama has a better roster than LSU and a better roster than Tennessee. Had no business losing either of those games. So when you go 10-2 and you don't have a good win, your best win is Texas or Mississippi State or Ole Miss, you don't have a great win. When you go 10-2, you don't deserve to be in the playoff. And as ill-prepared as TCU was last night, they went through a season 12-0. They played for their conference championship. They deserved to get in the field of 4, and then they won a playoff game. They deserved to be where they were last night before getting embarrassed. Alabama didn't deserve it. Alabama fans College football is not a monarchy. You are not born into greatness. You're not given things on a silver platter. I know it's weird to you, but you have to earn things. It's a meritocracy. TCU went out and earned it this year. Alabama fans want to sit back in Tuscaloosa and have everything handed to them. We're Alabama, so we should be there because we're the better team. Yeah, you were the better team. But you didn't play like it. You didn't deserve it. You didn't earn it. Would it have been a better title game last night if Alabama had gotten there? Sure. Next time, don't lose 2 games. Next time, take care of business. Next time, don't sit on your laurels. Actually go out and win something. All right. Katie, are these good TikToks? Are they too long?
Perfect.
Okay. I now speak in TikTok. I'm going to start singing that Billie Eilish song in a minute, or I'm going to start fucking my money don't wiggle wiggle. That song still a thing? Are you doing yak work right now, TJ?
Yeah, I identified an issue.
Alabama fans, West Point is only about 40 minutes from T-Town. Are you threatening me? Are you saying you're going to go burn my house down because I said something about Alabama? What is that, Jim Stennett? Also, West Point is way further than 40 minutes. Way further. Katie, did Big Cat give you money for Christmas too? In multiplications of what I gave you, is it 2 times more?
Why does it matter?
Because I gave TJ something, and then Big Cat gave him something, and let's just say Big Cat's living that 10x lifestyle. So did he 10x me on you too?
Not 10x.
Did he 5x me?
I'm not answering this.
Well, only you and I know what I gave you.
Yeah.
He 4x'd me, didn't he?
No.
More than 4x?
No.
Did he 2x?
Yeah.
He 2x'd me. Okay.
Exactly what he said on the Christmas special.
He 2x'd me.
The same proportion. Excuse me. Not.
He 2x'd me. Okay. So he 4x'd me on TJ. No, he 10x'd me on TJ. Yeah, he 10x'd me.
A little less than 10x.
Just a little bit.
And that makes sense. TJ does a lot for Big Cat.
It does make sense.
Well, you understand I gave you out of my means, and he gave you out of his means.
I guess.
Okay.
Do you see me complaining? No, I'm happy.
The Santa Claus figurine is right above my head. Here's my last TikTok. Oh, no, I have 2 more TikToks. And then I will get to your calls. Wow, I'm going deep in the show just on my own. 2 more TikToks. After the national championship game where Georgia wins 65-7 over TCU, 2 teams have to be feeling some type of way. First of all, the Ohio State Buckeyes have to be feeling sick right now. They had a national championship in their hands. They outplayed Georgia for a majority of that game, 9/10 of that game. And then the Stetson Bennett heroics and Ohio and then Marvin Harrison Jr. getting knocked out cost them a game, and they lost. But they had the national champs on the ropes. They had the best team in the country on the ropes. They could have very well won that game, and then they would have walked to a national title by beating TCU. They need to feel sick. Michigan fans should feel embarrassed. Did you see TCU play Georgia? They didn't belong on the field with them. They did not have the same personnel. They did not have the same anything. They were absolutely outmatched. They did not belong on the field with Georgia. Michigan, you had a month? You had a month to prepare for that team, and you lost to that team? You threw 2 pick sixes to that team? There's no chance in hell Michigan, who can go into Columbus and beat Ohio State, beat the hell out of them in the second half, and then you turn around and lose to TCU, a team that did not belong with the elites of the elite? Ohio State fans, you got to be sick. Michigan fans, you need to be embarrassed because Jim Harbaugh owes you. Whatever check you paid Jim Harbaugh the last month, he owes it back to you. I promise you. And you can get mad at me. I'm just telling you as a Michigan fan, it was your time to take a step up and play for a national title, and he failed you. J.J. McCarthy failed you. Michigan failed you because you lost to a team you had no business losing to. My last TikTok, and then I will get to your calls. when I write down a list of the teams in college football for 2023 that would excite me tremendously if I was a fan of those teams, the teams that I think really could take a big step forward and be interesting and be very, very good in 2023. First of all, this one is chalk, but I must say the Georgia Bulldogs are number one until further notice. Did you see how they got better when their backups came in last night? Their backups came off the bench. Their freshman defensive players came in and looked like NFL players. This team is number one until they lose a game. They just are. They have earned that. They have proven that. Normally, I don't like to carry over number one from one year to the next, but when you go undefeated off the back of what they did last year, losing 15 players, they deserve to be there again. Georgia's number one until further notice. If I'm a Florida State fan, I'm sitting here very, very excited about next year. Jordan Travis is back. Jared Verse is back. They've taken in some quality transfers. They finished the season very strong, 10-3. They were a pretty good team this year. Jordan Travis is going to take the leap to Heisman contender next year. And frankly, I think they'll be the best team in the ACC. If I'm a Florida State fan, I'm very excited about 2023. The USC Trojans, they need a lot of work in the transfer portal, but guess what? Last year they needed it too, and they got it for their offense. They scored a lot of points. Now you work on that defense. Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams went from whatever it was last year, 5-7, 6-6, to 11-2. They took that big step. Now, one more year, if they can add some defensive help, maybe they take the leap to playoff team. The Washington Huskies, the most under-awarded player in this country this year was Michael Penix Jr. Oh, we watched Stetson Bennett go to New York. We watched C.J. Stroud go to New York. We watched all these players get all these flowers. You know who led the country in passing? Michael Penix Jr. And he's a guy at Indiana that everybody just assumed was terrible. He wasn't good at Indiana. Then he goes out to Washington with Kalen DeBoer, and they absolutely tear up the West Coast. Now they're getting in some good transfers. Their offense is going to be very good. They could be the favorite in the Pac-12 next year. Michael Penix Jr., to me, if I'm saying who's going to win the Heisman next year, he might be my first stop. Penn State Nittany Lions are going to be very good next year. Ohio State doesn't know who their quarterback's going to be. Michigan's got to be soul searching right now. Like, is J.J. McCarthy the guy? He blew a playoff game against a bad team. Penn State, with these young running backs, winning the Rose Bowl. They get Michigan at home next year. Penn State, I think, joins Ohio State and Michigan in the playoff conversation in the Big Ten. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Pretty good team this year if they had a quarterback. Well, quarterback's here. Sam Hartman from Wake Forest, great player. Notre Dame is immediately a national title contender for next year because of him. Two more. The rest of these are in the SEC. The Tennessee Volunteers. Now, a lot of people are going to give up on this team because Hendon Hooker is gone. I'm not going to. I think they could be just as good next year. Now, they got to replace Jalen Hyatt and some receivers, and if they can do that, and they've used the portal to do it, if they can do that capably, they can be just as good. Because did anybody in the world believe Hendon Hooker could be a Heisman contender when he was at Virginia Tech? No, because he was an average quarterback. And he went to Heupel, Josh Heupel, and he helped develop him into a Heisman contender and leading the number one team in the country. If he did that for Hendon Hooker, why couldn't he do it for Joe Milton? He could, and he might. Tennessee is very interesting for next year. Plus, they get Georgia at home. And my last one, this is a team that I've been famously crapping on all year. But now, Kentucky fans, you get to see the other side. Because fans are going to give up. Observers are going to give up on Kentucky because they were average this year. You know why they were average? Because they were average at the most important position, Will Levis. He can go be a first-round pick. He can be the top 5 pick, whatever. He was an average college quarterback. Kentucky's bringing in so much from the transfer portal. They're bringing back a pretty good bit, and they're going to improve drastically at quarterback with Devin Leary from NC State. Kentucky, I think, could be a 10-win team next year, and nobody but me is going to say that. 888-STOOL22. 888-STOOL22. Also, 281-330-8004. Hit me up on the low. We go to Chris in New Jersey to start us off. Go ahead.
Thanks, Brandon. I'm going to start off here by giving you 4 players of college football passed recently, and I just wanted you to give your thoughts that just comes to mind just immediately.
Go.
Okay.
Go.
Okay, first off, I'm going to give you Trayvon Boykin, TCU, since we just had TCU recently.
Terrific quarterback, and looking back, probably the one team in the playoff era who should have played in the playoff, possibly played for a national title that didn't get a chance. If we could go back and redo that year, I think they somehow need to get squeezed into that playoff, and he was a phenomenal quarterback. That's my thoughts about Trayvon Boykin, TCU.
Okay, this is a guy that I couldn't stand as a Miami fan, but I got to give him credit, DeAndre Francois.
Yeah, to me, he's a guy that just never took that next step. He's a guy that never became what we thought he could become. I remember he came in, was it against Alabama maybe one year where we saw him first? Maybe I got that wrong, but I know it was
sophomore year, yeah.
Yeah, it was a big game early. To me, he had a lot more potential than he eventually got to, so maybe he's one of those missed opportunities for Florida State.
Third, Eddie Lacy.
Yeah, well, just another in a long line of great Alabama running backs, and probably one of the more forgotten ones. Of course, you remember Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram because they won Heisman's, but there are guys like T.J. Yeldon, there are guys like Eddie Lacy who don't get talked about nearly as much, who were just as good. Continue.
And last one, a lot of people think of Michael Thomas for this team, but Devin Smith in Ohio State.
Well, I mean, I can't say I have really very many strong thoughts. It feels like Ohio State just is a five-star factory that they just plug in incredible players every single year, and some just go under the radar for me of how excellent and great they are.
Okay. I personally remember during the Alabama game, I think he had like a big play to get them. And if I could just give you one last thing, Brandon, I was just looking back at the past, 36 games. Georgia was 35-1. I mean, is it crazy to say that they could, get close? I'm not going to say break Oklahoma's 1950s 47-game winning streak.
Yeah, no, I think it's crazy. And the SEC is too hard to do that. It's almost impossible to go undefeated 2 years in a row. The fact they did it in the regular season is incredible, but no, I and Georgia fans will take offense to this, but I mean, I feel pretty strong they'll lose at least one game next year. The SEC is just impossible to get through as many times as they've done it, and the fact that I can't see anybody from the SEC in modern times threatening that win streak. Thank you very much. 8-8, still 22. Mitch in Arizona, go ahead.
Hey, Brandon. Just calling. Love the Yak 10X first off. Shout out to you and TJ. Mike Leach should be in the Hall of Fame immediately.
Yep.
I want to talk to you. You came out multiple times. You've said Kirby's not a good coach. You said he's not a good recruiter. You said he only gets it because he pays people. When are you going to wake up and realize he's the best coach in the nation?
I think that I appreciate you supporting Barstool very much, and I appreciate you supporting the Yak and all the shows that I do. I think if that's what you take from what I say through the years, then you are not a very smart individual, and it's embarrassing, and I don't even know how you figured out how to call this phone call. No, I'm serious. Shut up, Mitch. Shut up, Mitch. You don't. Mitch, shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up, let me talk!
Brandon.
Mitch, shut the fuck up and let me talk. When Kirby Smart was having trouble getting over the mountain, when he was having trouble conquering Saban, I pointed out, hey, Georgia, I don't know if your coach has it. I don't know if your coach is good enough. Saban's on top of the mountain, and Kirby can't knock him off. Well, guess what? Now Kirby is the mountain. Opinions change. Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Tell him to shut up. Somebody tell him to shut up. I got to get him.
Brandon.
Opinions change. Shut the fuck up! God damn it! If you call the show and you ask a question, shut the fuck up! You're a grown-ass man named Mitch. Your parents had 9 months. They came up with Mitch. Fuck! College football fans love to marry your thoughts. They love to propose to them. marry them, impregnate them, and keep them forever till death do they part. Meaning, if you said something in 2017 when Kirby was struggling to beat Saban, that's your opinion now. Guess what? Accomplishments change opinions. Kirby Smart has proven he's a good enough coach. He's proven he's a great coach. And you're talking about something I said 3 years ago before he had proven it? Grow the fuck up. Good Lord. Tell you another thing. I'm not going to be sit here and talked down to by a grown fucking man named Mitch. All right? I guarantee you Mitch is somewhere wearing a turtleneck petting a cat. And I'm not going to be talked down to a guy like that. I'm going to call Brandon Walker. That's what I'm going to do. Brandon, you don't like Kirby Smart, do you? Good Lord. Can I get another 30? I was good. I was in good. Was I not in a good mood? I was in a great mood. Darling, hand me the phone. It's 888-STOOL-22.
What was that impression?
I don't know. I don't know how he got British, or he got hoity-toity all of a sudden, didn't he? Zach in South Carolina, go ahead.
Yeah, so this year kind of saw Clemson starting to crack and fall apart. And honestly, like the cult of Dabo stuff isn't working anymore. In your opinion, what is the best case scenario for Clemson going forward?
Well, best case scenario is Cade Klubnik is a great quarterback, and they're able to find some elite weapons that they haven't had in a while. Like the fact that 5 years ago you had T. Higgins and you had Justin Ross and you had these incredible receivers and running backs, and now you're trying to make do with Will Shipley and whatever their receiving core is. They just don't have the elite players anymore. So hopefully the cult of Dabo is able to trick some more elite players into coming to Clemson, because without his coordinators and without his elite recruits, Dabo is just a pretty good coach. A really good coach, actually. A 9-3 coach. But he's not a 12-0 coach. And all the preaching and all the finagling with some church funds ain't going to help him become a great coach. It just is about players, and he ain't got them.
Yeah, and would you say Kirby Smart is kind of now surpassed Dabo, or what are your opinions on that?
Of course Kirby Smart's past Dabo. He's past everybody. Kirby Smart's the best coach in America right now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it should. It should. Now that you mention it, I think I'm bleeding inside my chest. Nick in Colorado, go ahead.
Hey, Brandon. I'm a doctor at a pretty busy hospital out here in Colorado, and I have a toddler and another baby coming in May. And I got to say, the best part about this season is having like unlimited heart and soul of Barstool Sports content between Unnecessary Roughness and this. I was just curious if there's any chance you would reconsider your hiatus until July. And then my second part is, how'd you enjoy Fort Collins when you were out here? Thanks.
Well, if people want me to continue the Brandon Walker College Football Show a little bit longer, calls like this, singing my praises, are certainly the way to do it. So thank you very much for that. Secondly, I landed in Denver. I got in a car and I drove from Denver up to Laramie, Wyoming, and I did some interstate, and then I got off on like 278 or 287 or one of the highways up there. And on the way back, I took 287, and that might not be the number, but I took 287 down, and I went through Fort Collins, and Fort Collins was a beautiful town. There's nothing not pretty out there. Every town, every scene is beautiful between Denver and where I went in Wyoming. It's just it's a stunning part of the earth. I love Fort Collins is what I'm trying to tell you.
Awesome, Brandon. Well, I appreciate you, and I hope you'll reconsider. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Bradley in Arkansas, go ahead.
Hey, Brandon. I just wanted to know what you thought about, or what you think about the different play styles in the SEC and how that might give the SEC teams an advantage, having to just prepare for all of those and having to build their teams for all the different types of teams in the SEC.
Well, like what do you mean? Like, give me some examples of play styles. Like Georgia's, because when I think of Georgia and Alabama, I don't think you have to get ready for their play styles. I think you have to get ready for their talent, and that's really what sets the SEC apart. The play styles themselves can go and come, but when, like Georgia, for example, Georgia can play any style of football they want. Their players are just better than everybody else. That's what makes the SEC so tough.
I just mean more like you got to have a great secondary when you're playing against like Ole Miss or Mississippi State.
You got to be strong up front to play Alabama and Arkansas. Yeah.
Or what?
I don't know. I'm bored with you. 888 Stool 22.
See, they're doing a relegation week on the dozen.
I did.
Could you imagine being a team that could get relegated?
Couldn't be me, brother. Couldn't be me.
Me neither.
See, here's the thing. You talk about relegation. I'm not a relegation guy. I'm a billboard guy.
Right.
I'm a put front and center guy. I'm a front of the house guy. So when the dozen's going to Arizona, whose face do they put on it? Me. It's my show. And the dozen coming to Arizona very soon for the Super Bowl. We're coming to Scottsdale, the dozen, and I'm out there. The experts facing the Yak. Actually, I don't know if the matchups are out. Never mind. They might not be out yet. Never mind. Although not very hard to discern the rest of that statement.
I'll be doing a Team Baddies meet and greet in the parking lot of the theater.
That is incorrect. We will not be allowing the Team Baddies meet and greet in the parking lot. Of course, when they put out the sign, or they put out the tweet yesterday, you had the 15 fat virgins from Massachusetts who act like 5,000 people saying, "Where's Kirk? Where's Kirk? Where's Kirk?" And he's actually coming to do the pre and the post show, so he's going to be a part of it. And I think the experts and Team Minahan will clash sooner than later. That's what I will tell you. 888 Stool 22. Are you playing first and losing like normal? No, we won the last time we were on the live show. We won in New York. Thank you very much, dipshit. Gerald in New York. Go ahead, Gerald.
Brandon, my guy, that is one fire sweater.
My UW rodeo shirt? Yes, I earned this. I earned this with sweat equity. I bled for this.
That is awesome. So I'm calling with you some options today. First, I wanted to give a shout-out to University of Washington, winning the top spot of the Pac-12. Great team. Could have done better than TCU in the UGA game. And the options that I have for you is a redemption dad joke because I screwed up last time, and or first ever thoughts with your bro, the Mike Jones story, which is hilarious because you brought up Mike Jones.
What? Who?
Hit him up on the low.
Who?
I have a Mike Jones story for you and or a redemption dad joke.
Oh, you were giving me options. I see.
Yeah.
That was confusing. Give me the Mike Jones story first, please.
The which one? Say that one. Say that again.
Mike Jones.
All right. So I grew up on a group of islands off the West Coast in Washington, which is why I'm a UW fan. And I find it funny that you said that because me and the boys, we would get together a couple times a week after high school, and we played poker, and we would play Halo midship shotguns. And we would have two TVs, about 4 people on each TV. And guess what my avatar for Halo was?
Mike Jones?
Yep, it was Mike Jones. So everybody in the room would say, you would hear everybody every 2 minutes after a kill saying, effing Mike Jones. I thought that was funny that you brought that up tonight.
Now give me your dad redemption thing.
All right, so You know who 50 Cent the rapper is?
No, I know 50 Cent the bus driver. Is there a rapper?
Yeah, so 50 Cent the rapper. I think a young crowd would get this, but what did 50 Cent say when a relative for Christmas gave him a hand-knitted sweater?
What?
Gee, you knit?
That's okay. Hey, all right. Okay, that's all right. I was prepared for that to stink. I was prepared for that to be awful. TJ, are we going to give him his flowers on this?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Way to go, Gerald. You saved that one. Woo! I got close. Gee. We have fun here. We enjoy. No, listen. In the chat's like, what was going on with that call? They had us in the first half. I ain't gonna lie. They had us in the first half. What's that right there? Did they put out my mic'd up?
Yep.
How long ago did they put it out?
At top of the hour.
Scroll down. I'd like to see if there's some positive feedback or negative feedback. Okay, so 3 retweets. Let's go ahead and look at the quote tweet. King of the South, that's good. Okay, all right, like that one. Lord, we need him there for. Okay, all right, that's 2 good ones. 2 good. Legend, 3. Okay, 3 for 3. I'm upset there's no footage of our bro hug. Okay, all right. Well, you're very fat. Thanks for spending the day with BWC. Yeah. And then last one. Okay, good. That seems all positive. Seems like everybody's happy. All right. If you want to watch content, Katie.
Yeah?
Retweet that. Mississippi State basketball.
Yeah.
Why are you hollering at me?
You quit hollering.
888 Stool 22. Gee, you knit? Okay. All right. Well, y'all don't care. Okay. Thomas in Chicago, go.
Hey, Brandon. Hope you're doing well. Office trivia for you. Daryl is upset that his coworkers in the warehouse won the lottery.
Yeah.
What item do they create from winning the lottery?
Oh, didn't they create?
Remember?
Didn't they create several things? Like the Asian guy created a gay energy drink for Asians, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and they did several things, but that's one of the ones I remember.
Yeah. With this, so I was calling in to talk 2 things. One, I think you're right about the whole Michigan Ohio State. I feel like looking at the grander stage, people are looking at Michigan as more embarrassment because you beat Ohio State, but like that's mainly more about like regional versus the semifinals were more like on a wider scale.
Sure.
I feel like with Michigan losing, it kind of puts a damp on them, and I personally I feel like they're not gonna go to losing like 2 more games, but they've got a lot of questions to ask themselves. Versus Ohio State, they just
agreed.
Expect to be like, we could hang with these guys.
Well, Michigan beat Ohio State last year, right? And that was a big step for their program. They got to the playoff. Then they beat them this year, and it was time to make another step as a program, win a playoff game and play for a national title, and they didn't make that step. So that's got to be massively disappointing, especially when that step was against a bad football team. Continue.
Yeah, and then so it's very disappointing. And then with all this, so obviously everyone's saying like Alabama should get in, but it's like I feel like with every question you ask, so Alabama should get in. Well, they lost 2 losses. Well, with 12-team playoff, it's like TCU wouldn't have been in the championship game. It would have been like either Ohio State and Alabama. So I feel like with all these questions that people have about whether Alabama should have got in, or this team should have done this or done that. I feel like we answer every single question with an answer that's very logical and very fine-tuned. The 12-team playoff is going to solve all of them.
Yeah, well, listen.
Solve every single question.
If Alabama truly was one of the best teams in the country, they will get through a 12-team playoff. And people say, well, we don't want Alabama to do that. Why? You want the best teams, right? If you want the best teams,
Yeah.
12-team playoff is going to help you get there. And TCU would have been exposed earlier in a 12-team playoff, and you would get rid of the pretenders, and you would have the contenders. In a 14 playoff, what we have now, Alabama didn't deserve it. In a 12-team, they would. And I think more seats at the table creates better football, creates more opportunity, creates everything. Thank you very much. 888 Stool 22. Ben in Ohio, go ahead.
10X, Brandon. How's it going tonight?
10X, what's up?
Hey, man, I just wanted to call and say thank you because using the Barstool Sportsbook, which is now legal in Ohio, I parlayed a bunch of your takes last night and hit a plus 950. So I want to say thank you for your vast knowledge. And
I'm not gonna lie to you. What was this guy's name? Ben in Ohio. Last night was a very fun night to be on the Barstool Sportsbook.
And that is a fact.
It was a good night. If you listened to Brandon Walker last night, it was a good night for you.
I listened to the Brandon Walker show on my way where I was watching the game and placed it when I got there. And big. Brandon Walker knows everything. That's the man.
Thank you. Greatest mind in college football. Fuck. CJ in Mississippi's been hanging on a while. I don't know how he slipped through the cracks here. CJ in Mississippi, go ahead.
Hey, Brandon, that's all right. I just wanted to talk about what I think is kind of the best story in college football this year. Most people are talking about TCU, and they're a really good story, but I'm a little biased in going this way. But I don't think Tulane's gotten enough really national recognition in terms of just what an unbelievable story they are.
Yeah.
Last year they won 2 games, displaced by a hurricane, basically just in the dumps, and really just over the last 50 or 60 years since leading the SEC, they've been one of the worst programs in Division I football. And to go from that to winning 12 games, going to the Cotton Bowl, they beat Kansas State on the road, they beat Cincinnati on the road in that winning streak, and they beat the Heisman quarterback in the Cotton Bowl. If you told me when I went to school there that would have ever been a thing that happened, I would have called you insane. We won 11 games total in the 4 years I was there, and then they win 12 games this year. So I think even more so than TCU, they've been the best story in college football this year. What do you think?
Well, they were an incredible story. Not only did they win 11 or 12 games, because that can happen. You can schedule your way to 12 or 11 games, and it can be a fluke. But Tulane, it was not that way at all. Tulane beat the Big 12 champion. Kansas State won the Big 12. Tulane went to their house and beat their ass. Tulane beat USC in a major bowl. Tulane had a huge comeback. Like, nothing about Tulane's. A lot of times maybe you have a group of 5 team that wins 11 games. But is there anything there that you can hold on to? Not really. Tulane had 2 massive victories. And not only that, they kept their coach. Their coach was you could have gone to Georgia Tech, but said, hey, I want to coach this bowl game. And Georgia Tech, I don't know if they wanted to hurry or whatever. End of story. Willie Fritz is still at Tulane. He's a hell of a football coach. Like, this could just be the start for them because he's a very good coach, and that was a terrific year for them. Thank you very much. 888 still. We go to, oh, my goodness. Well, isn't this nice? Bubs in Iowa, welcome back to the Brandon Walker College Football Show.
Brandon, Bubs Tub Club. Hope you're doing average.
Thank you.
Let's start with some trivia. It's been a while.
Go.
There's been 7 players in history that have won the Heisman, but also gone on to win the NFL MVP. Can you name, I'll say 4 of them? 4 of them.
Cam Newton.
1.
Earl Campbell.
2.
Tony Dorsett.
Nope, not Tony.
Okay, all right. Marcus Allen. Marcus
Allen is 3.
Jim Plunkett.
Incorrect. I'll give you one more shot.
Dun, 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 dun. I don't know it. Who is it?
O.J. Simpson, Barry Sanders, Lamar Jackson, Paul Hornig.
Lamar Jackson's a gigantic miss. That's embarrassing. Barry Sanders is a big miss. O.J. Simpson, I'm okay missing because he killed some people. And Paul Hornig, I'm sure, did something in his life that wasn't right either. Go ahead.
All right, and somebody already asked my question I was going to ask, so I'll just throw out an Iowa one. Do you think Caden McNamara makes an actual difference coming from Michigan to Iowa now that we have a functional quarterback there in the Hawkeye State?
I want to say something to Iowa fans, and I really mean this. I really mean this, because I think TCU should be a terrific example for Iowa. Iowa desperately needs to get into modern football. Kirk Ferentz has been an incredible coach at Iowa, and he's had some great accomplishments, okay? And maybe Cade McNamara being their quarterback helps them take a step forward into modern football. And if that can happen under Kirk Ferentz, great. But history says it might not be able to. His offenses haven't been very modern. They haven't been very good. And last year, TCU found themselves in the exact spot Iowa is right now, in the doldrums. Not very good. And they fired a guy named Gary Patterson who had been there 20 years and built their program. And the next year, they played for a national title. Now, I'm not saying Iowa would be as an extreme an example, but I don't know that Kirk Ferentz and Iowa splitting ways or splitting up would be bad for either one of them. Kirk Ferentz has had an incredible run. It's been awesome. But Iowa is a program that can get players and that competes in the Big Ten West and can be a very good program. And maybe if they were able to give their program the jolt TCU did, they would see a similar result to going from good to great. However, you just asked about Cade McNamara, and Kirk Ferentz is still the coach. So if the question is about Cade McNamara, I do believe Cade McNamara can be a temporary help for a program that has been relying on really, really shitty quarterbacks for a long time. Now they have one who is pretty good. So if I'm an Iowa fan, I'm excited about him at least.
Brandon, appreciate your time as always. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. 888-STOOL-22. And let's go quickly if we can. Tom in Central New York, go ahead.
Hey, Brandon, first-time caller. Thanks for taking it.
Thank you.
Was hoping you could educate a northern boy who's only used to Syracuse football with some college knowledge. Stetson Bennett, I thought last year, great story, but lightning in a bottle. Somehow this year became even a better story. Yeah. Where do you think that comes from? Is that coaching? Is that Kirby Smart finally being put on the pedestal of a great coach? And I think that sets up Georgia being even more scarier if they're able to develop someone like Stetson Bennett and win back-to-back.
I think there's there's a lot of reasons that go into this, and there's a lot of credit to go to a lot of people. Number one is Stetson Bennett was probably underrated coming out of high school. If you look at his smarts, his instincts, his ability to run away from pressure, his ability to run, period, his ability to be a dual threat and to make the right throw at all times, he was a better quarterback coming out of high school than people thought. Number two, Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator, absolutely created an offense that works perfectly to Stetson Bennett's strengths. He has a creative offense. He uses the tight end. He uses all kind of receivers, running backs. You don't know where they're coming from, and he schemes receivers open a lot, and that helps Stetson Bennett. And number three, the credit should go to Kirby Smart, who believed in Stetson Bennett. At times when they first started and he was replacing JT Daniels, Georgia fans didn't believe in Stetson Bennett. A lot of fans didn't believe in Stetson Bennett. He struggled a little bit, but Kirby Smart saw it. And I don't know that I've ever given Kirby Smart a whole lot of credit for a lot of things, but he saw it with Bennett, and he stuck with him, and he stuck with him, and he stuck with him. Eventually he got 2 national titles, and Stetson Bennett goes down as an all-time great Georgia Bulldog. And I think those 3 men are the primary sources of credit that you need to go to.
Appreciate the insight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sometimes I just be saying smart things, too. 888-STOOL-22. Joe in Michigan, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Buckeye Brandon? I was just wondering if you're going to make the same mistake that you've made the past 2 years and put Ohio State above Michigan again.
I just think it's, to me, Joe, thank you for calling. It's hysterical to me that a night after watching TCU get run off the field, you want to call and thump your chest about Michigan beating Ohio State as if you guys didn't leave the biggest opportunity in the recent history of your program on the field. You lost to an embarrassing team with an embarrassing effort, and you want to talk about Ohio State? That's pretty pathetic.
Yeah, no, I'll give you. It was an embarrassing effort, but we had a quarterback who's inexperienced. We're basically
no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You had a quarterback who walked into Columbus. You had a quarterback who walked into Columbus. Can you shut the fuck up and let me talk? I'll let you talk. You had a quarterback who walked into Columbus and was good enough to win by 22 and was awesome in the second half of that football game. He didn't all of a sudden become inexperienced when he played TCU. TCU was not a very good defense. Your quarterback being inexperienced is a.
Our defense played like shit. That was an outlier game. That was our worst game of the season by far.
It was your worst game of the season. And here you want to talk about Ohio State. I promise you, Ohio State doesn't want to talk about Michigan today, but Michigan wants to talk about Ohio State. Why? Because apparently that's all that matters. You had a chance to go play for a national title, and all you're worried about is Ohio State? Again, pathetic. Wow, I beat the shit out of Joe. God damn. Joe didn't know what hit him. It's amazing to me that somebody like Michigan, the all-time winningest program, who should have some pride in what they do, simply get to the end of the season and beat Ohio State and say, look at us. Oh, my God, we're the shit. Everybody worship us. TCU pops them in the mouth. They turn around. Fuck, that hurt. Did y'all see us beat Ohio State, though? That's weird. TJ, dare I say I've been on one tonight?
You know, I was with my parents over the weekend, and they were talking about this show because they watched this show. They were like, I think Brandon was tired or something in December. He didn't seem like he was, in the right headspace. He didn't, he was abrasive with callers and not like a normal way. But I would say after the long break, I think you're back.
Well, I got to be honest. I took a week off last week. I wasn't in a good headspace. Some things were. I was trying to work through some things.
Football season's
It's a long slog. It really is.
And then there's nothing.
Yeah, life's a bitch, and then you die.
Nothing but baseball.
Still trying to get a piece of that apple pie. Every game ain't the same, but the game still. What?
We should run back Omaha this year during the downtime.
We really should. We really should. 888 Stool 20. What? What's Katie saying?
Food tour. Unnecessary roughness food tour.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
What?
Hold on. I'm talking to the thing. Is this that same asshole calling back?
Yeah.
All right, Mitch, you're on again. Give it to me.
Brandon, we're back. Let's just be civilized.
Okay.
Be civilized. I wasn't trying to argue as hard as you were earlier.
Go.
Let's be honest, though. Let's be honest. Oh, are you there?
Please talk.
Okay, just admit that Kirby's the second best coach in the nation.
Mitch, I do worry that you don't have the IQ needed to.
Oh, Brandon, who are you going to put above him?
I have to ask you a question. Have you watched the show?
I do watch the show almost daily.
Have you watched the show today? Have you watched the show today?
I did watch the show today. Now all of a sudden you turn the corner and you're like, oh, he's so loaded. He's got so many recruits. He's doing good.
Mitch, whatever your name is, Mitch.
Before this a week ago,
Mitch,
you were saying he's not a good
Mitch!
recruiter.
Did I earlier in the show on a call that wasn't yours say that Kirby Smart is officially the best coach in America?
Oh, I didn't hear that, Brandon. I didn't hear that.
What the fuck noise was that, Mitch? Did somebody light a poker up your ass?
Because you're being
please stop talking. Good Lord. People just be hearing what they want to hear, TJ. Anyway, show's over.